green emission intensity or greenhouse emission intensity. Now over here, this is primarily related to the carbon credit, CCTS. So carbon credit trading scheme. Okay, very quickly, carbon credit trading scheme basically is built upon Energy Conservation Act, the first thing. And based on that, the CCTS has been created. About the CCTS, the idea is India is creating its own carbon credit market. Okay, and that is based on greenhouse emission intensity. What do we mean by greenhouse emission intensity? It is greenhouse GHG emission per unit output. Per unit output. At the country level, GEI is measured as emissions per unit GDP. At the industries level, it is measured as emissions per unit production, per ton of production, let's say, for example. So it becomes easier to compare the small scale industries and large scale industries, which may be belonging to same sector, but their production levels are different. So how much tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions per ton of production? That is intensity based. That's the first thing. So over here now, in this case, the intensity based, we understand it is not based on total emissions or total output emissions. Now, this is the one where the institutional setup, which is extremely important for the paper. First, we see ministry is responsible for policy making. Okay, MOEFCC is involved, Ministry of Power is involved, and policy configuration. Then its administration would be done by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Okay, that is because we are here talking about Energy Conservation Act 2001. It is based on that. So Bureau of Energy Efficiency, that has been roped in now for the technical aspect of all of this. So they would be administrators, they would be setting the targets, issuing the credits and all. Then comes CERC, Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, which would be regulating the trade. To was issue of carbon credit, policy, rules, issuing carbon credit. After that, the second part comes that how it would be traded. And so rest of the part over here, which is where trading regulator would be CERC. And with respect to that trading, the registry would be operated by Grid Controller of India. So this becomes the trading part. Then related to how the issuance would happen. So we know the rules which are there, how the mechanism is there, is where the ministry would be issuing guidelines related to targets. Targets would be set. Targets would be set in emission intensity terms. So you have a company, you have been given the target, this is the target for you. If you achieve it, okay, well and good. Okay, if you overachieve, you earn that extra carbon credits. If you underachieve, you buy carbon credits to offset it. That is the basic simple rule which is there. And if you are not able to do that, you would be levied penalty for that. Penalty rules are, the penalty would be 2 times the price of carbon credit at that point. So if I tell you ki either you pay penalty, which is 2 times the carbon credit, or you purchase carbon credit to offset, of course, what will you do? You will purchase carbon credit. So that's all of the idea, but penalty is, this is how penalty is done. So enforcement and penalty is the task of CPCB. CPCB will take care of penalties. And eventually, once you claim ki I was given this target, and you submit a report that my emission intensity has been this much, so I should be issued this much of carbon credit. Who will verify it? Where will you go? So you will go to accredited verifiers. Okay, which the government would be identifying agencies. Okay, and to those agencies you will go, and those agencies will verify that, okay, this is the scenario. So that is where accredited verifiers come into picture, which will verify it, upload it on the portal, and from there, BEE would be issuing the credits. So this is the whole of the flow which is there, how the flow happens and what are the institutions involved in whole of this CCTS. So initially, okay, when the rules were notified, 13 sectors were identified, okay, for CCTS initially. Out of these 13 sectors, what the news tells us is 4 sectors initially. For 4 sectors, 2025. Okay, that is where government notified 4 sectors targets. These 4 sector targets included cement. Cement was there. Aluminium was there. Along with aluminium, we had chloralkali and paper and pulp. So these are the fours which were for 2025. So 2025, these are 2025. Then again, there was another list which was published again for 4 sectors. And the rules or the targets were notified for them also. Now the remaining next 4 comes up to be refineries, oil refineries over here. Along with refinery, we have petrochemicals, textiles. So petrochemicals, textiles, and secondary aluminium, which technically is aluminium only. Okay, but secondary aluminium. So next 4 sectors identified for 2026 targets. So as of now, if I see out of all these 13 sectors, how many sectors rules already targets have been notified? Effectively 7. Okay, from this particular list. Because secondary aluminium is under this only. Eventually, what you will see, okay, probably after prelims, and it will go on where eventually the targets for all the 13 sectors would be notified by the government, because it has already covered it under the rules. Just the matter of setting the targets. And target setting is a technical process. Okay, we have seen target setting would be done based on their historical emissions. What have been the historical emissions? And then now comparing it with the other factories of the same sector. And based on that, the target setting would be done. So it would be done stage-wise, and under 2 stages for 8 sectors, 7 in this list have been identified or targets have been already released. Okay, these are the new rules or the new targets that have been notified under the greenhouse gas emission intensity rules.